Bonjour, buenos días, welcome, and bienvenidos a todos. Wow, what a week at this World Strategic Forum. No, I think I would like to have a big applaud for Nicolas Rémillard and his team. Really, they did a terrific job. And the interview we just saw, quite an exclusive. So, hello, Jessie.
Hi.
Comment ça va?
Ça va très bien.
Très bien. So it was a big week for us here at the World Strategic Forum, and all those leaders that came together, and I think we all lift up all of us together. It was a big week for Quebec as well. Not only did we integrate yesterday night our office in Miami, even though I've been in Miami for the last 2 years now, but now we have a complete team here in Florida to nurture a relationship between Quebec and Florida. And also we signed an agreement with Miami-Dade County for your amazing climate hub, Jessie, which you're trailblazer about. Can you just say a word, because maybe not everybody knows about this climate tech hub?
Absolutely. So I have the privilege of leading innovation and economic development for Miami-Dade County in the office of Mayor Levine Cava. The mayor and I got to know each other when I was a Knight Fellow working in venture capital and advising her on tech and innovation. And then I joined her administration about 2 years ago. And in that time, I was working really closely with my team to find where the government was making large-scale investments to take centers of excellence here in the United States and turn them into global centers of excellence. And so we received funding and designation as the only climate tech hub in the United States. We're one of 12, and we're focused on sustainable, resilient infrastructure, which is technology that Miami has been developing and leading at a global scale since 1992 when Hurricane Andrew happened. And it's an area of our expertise that we can make sure that we're scaling. And so this week, we had the opportunity of being with the minister, being with Isabelle, and signing an MOU between Quebec and Miami-Dade to knowledge share, to information share, to make sure that our businesses are communicating that we're commercializing this technology. And none of this would have been possible without Isabelle. Just a shout out to Isabelle, because when we won the designation and the funding from the federal government, from the Department of Commerce, the first call that I received was from Isabelle, and she said, congratulations. And she said, now it's time to get to work on an international level, because that's what this money is about. And we were able to make it happen. So we received the money and the designation in July, and we're the first week of December signing the agreement. So it was also pretty fast for two pretty big governments to be able to do it.
I would say because it has been done among women. No, so yeah, very actionable. And talking about action coming up, Miami, of course, we just finished the amazing Miami Art Week. That's why I'm wearing sneaks, because we walk into all of these amazing fairs. And by the way, there was a great talk earlier about art and the importance of art. But there's a lot of sporting event coming to Miami. We know F1, tennis, FIFA, World Cup, and how with the influx of all these millions of visitors, because I've heard that for the FIFA Cup, it's the equivalent of 4 Super Bowl within a month for Miami in terms of welcoming those visitors from all over the world. So how is Miami-Dade County preparing for those major events? And now that will last, not only a weekend, let's say, but a full month next summer and 2026 after?
We are so excited. We if one thing that we do exceptionally well is that we know how to welcome people to Miami, and we know how to make sure that they have a great time. And we have been practicing. So, last month we had the Latin Grammys. Just last week, as you mentioned, we had Art Basel. So we know how to make sure that we are learning from all of these events. So we've already started our coordinating campaign. We're working across the municipalities and across the different jurisdictions. And we don't want to just do business as usual. For us, this is a moment to show the innovation that is coming from Miami-Dade County. So one of the things that the mayor has done is she launched an organization, which I helped co-found, called the Miami-Dade Innovation Authority. And what that does is that it puts out challenges, local challenges. So it says we have a challenge when it relates to X, and it goes and finds global entrepreneurs and gives them the opportunity to test and pilot their solution with Miami-Dade County. And if they're successful, to have the opportunity to enter into contract with Miami-Dade County. In order to do that, we know that it's not free for entrepreneurs to test and pilot. So Miami-Dade Innovation Authority gives an equity and makes an equity investment of $100,000 to these entrepreneurs. So we make it's a win-win with the entrepreneurs. And we're on our 4th challenge right now through Miami-Dade Innovation Authority. And it is a events-focused mobility challenge. So that when you have events with high numbers of people, a lot of people that are moving around in different areas, how can we do that the most effectively and learn from other places? The other thing that we're doing, in addition to the internal coordination between the different cities and the municipalities, is that we've started having conversations with all of the World Cup cities, and we started to have international conversations with Paris, who just did the Olympics and did it incredibly well, with Rio, that has held the World Cup before, and we're doing that with the government agencies themselves that were responsible, but also the companies that made it happen. And so we're all hands on deck. If anyone has any ideas or solutions or contacts, please feel free to email me, because we want to be hearing from you on how we can make this the most wonderful experience for everyone that's coming into town.
And maybe follow the LinkedIn page of the Miami-Dade Innovation Authority. So, because I think we're seeing all the challenges, and it's internationally open. So there can be some startups or scale-ups from Latin America, from Canada, from Europe.
Please.
Being part of the challenge.
Yes. And who flew in through Miami International Airport? Okay, so some of you might have seen that there is a new technology available there. It's called Route Me, that allows you to navigate through the airport. It gives you step-by-step instructions. That is an example of one of the innovations that we're testing. So far, more than 7,000 people have used it. It has 5-star ratings. And for those of you that may have rented a car and you know how painful it is to rent a car, this makes it really, really seamless. So that's how we want to involve new technology to improve customer experience.
And I think that I don't know what was the comment, or if any people in the room used the water taxi or the shuttles during Art Basel. That was quite new.
So cool.
So cool. And for international visitors, to go from Miami Beach to downtown to Bayfront Park and to all the fairs, water taxi. This is amazing. This is what makes Miami so special. So that was great this year for Art Basel. And 2 weeks ago, Miami-Dade also announced a resolution to eliminate single-use plastics and styrofoam. So that's amazing. Another woman behind that. So we have to cheer to Helene Higgins.
Yes.
So how do you see that? Because it will be quite a challenge in such a large population of almost 6 million people, residents. So how do you see this single-use plastic ban at the airport first, at the port? Can you tell us more about that?
So this was a legislation, as Isabelle was saying, put together by Commissioner Higgins that builds off of the mayor's work. And for the mayor, one of her focuses on legacy is how do we put our values in action? And so if we want to be more resilient and we want to make sure that we have less trash, how do we make sure that we, as an economic engine of the county, can also be doing that? And that was the the inception point for this plastic ban. And Commissioner Higgins, we met about it, and she was very clear that this is an opportunity for government to lead, especially at the scale that we buy. We in Miami-Dade County produce 2 times more trash than the average American citizen, each of us. So we have a lot of work to do in this space. And what we found is that with single-use plastic, so think about plastic straws or your plastic silverware, that there are other market available solutions that are the same cost that'll make sure that we are lowering garbage. So, it's something new. It's going to be a little bit of habit changing, but it's something that we're really excited about. If, one of the complaints that we get is that no one likes paper straws. You're right. No one likes paper straws, but I can promise you that we're also thinking about other solutions that aren't paper straws. I recently had a straw that was made out of sugar that you could eat. A delightful experience. There you are.
Yes, for sure. And so these new implementation, of course, will be in place for those major events coming
For all the
up.
major events.
Or are you trying to see how, let's say, you'll bringing the Hard Rock Stadium or, all the large partners of those events that Miami will host?
The reason that we were able to do this and ban the single-use plastic is because Hard Rock Stadium has already done it.
Oh.
So in this moment, it was government that was following Hard Rock, and it made it easier for us to make sure that we were making the case because we had a private sector partner who had already said we're not using single plastic. So they really paved the way, and they were the ones that taught us and also laid the political groundwork to make sure that we could do it. So kudos to Hard Rock for leading the way.
Wow, I didn't know that. So that's amazing. And in terms of economic impact, of those events coming to Miami, because we know the world wants to be in Miami, so the world wants to invest here. People wanted to move here. Personally, I moved from Barcelona, which is another most beautiful city in the world, to Miami 2 years ago. I live in Brickell without a car.
That's impressive.
As a North American living in Montreal, I had 2 cars, like a summer car because you wanted to, and then a winter car, the weather in Canada. By moving to Barcelona, I learned to live without a car. As a North American, that was a challenge.
Yes.
And when I moved to Miami, I'd say, you know what? I'll try. My husband has a car. I Uber a lot. Sometimes I love Brightline to do the meetings, but I'm telling you, Chessie, and for some people in the room, I was able to live without a car in Miami for the last 2 years. I have an e-bike. So thank you for making more bike path. And so it's truly possible. Miami offers that. I don't have kids. I have dogs, but, so it's possible. And this is the testimonial of this city and this county evolving towards many lifestyles, including more sustainable infrastructure.
Yes, that's absolutely right. We want to make sure that we are developing infrastructure for multimodal commuting, that we are encouraging people to use our public transportation. So we are the most recovered public transportation system in the United States post-pandemic, and our ridership is up compared to even before the pandemic. So we know that it's working. The mayor launched a better bus network, which has been able to improve ridership by 20% on the weekends and 15% on weekdays. We know that we're seeing more people ride it. We have, when it comes to multimodal, we have these little, I think most people have seen them, Go Connect, so that your last mile, you can be taken in a van from the public transportation. And so we want to make sure, and we're investing in our infrastructure now and expanding lines north and also east-west so that we can do that coordination. If you're a large employer in the room, there's a subsidy program that you can sign up to where Miami-Dade County will subsidize public transit for your employees. We want to hear your stories. And, I just want to end with, the mayor just launched this new program on social media, this new, social media video series. She launched it with Gloria Estefan and Emilio Estefan, and then did it with a couple of other celebrities before the Latin Grammys, where we were encouraging people to use public transportation. And in this program, we do testimonials. So I think, Isabelle, we have to do a testimonial with you next. That's our next step, is to make sure that you and the mayor do a testimonial about riding the metro, because we need to make sure that everyone is using it and that everyone is having a great experience.
Ce sera un plaisir.
Merci
Con mucho
beaucoup.
gusto.
Muchas gracias.